Hello everyone, Mr. Happy here, and today I want to give you guys my thoughts on a mobile game that's been out for some time in Japan since September 2014, but just came out about a month ago here in North America. Final Fantasy Record Keeper. Now, I myself have only been playing it about for the past week, so this video is basically going to be a review of about a week of non-stop gameplay. And trust me, I mean non-stop. Now, I know what you're thinking already. I've expressed my thoughts on free-to-play and mobile games before in other videos and on my live stream. I mean, most of the time the model is the same. It gets you invested with short and addictive gameplay, and then like an hour or two into it, it goes after your wallet to make sure that you can keep playing at all, really. But since it was a Final Fantasy game, a lot of people were asking me to give it a shot, saying it was what all the bravest should have been. Now, like I said, I've been playing it pretty often for the last week or so, and Final Fantasy Record Keeper, it definitely still feels like a mobile game, but it feels like they made somewhat of an effort to just make it an actual game. Now, the story of Record Keeper is simple. Your name is Tyro, and you are a young scholar in a magical kingdom. This kingdom is responsible for preserving the memories of ancient stories within paintings. All of these stories just happen to be from classic Final Fantasy games. However, something goes wrong and the paintings begin to fade. Your master, or mentor, Dr. Mog, puts you in charge of restoring the paintings and finding out the cause behind these disturbances. After a somewhat hasty tutorial, the game throws you into an ATB-style turn-based combat familiar to classic Final Fantasy fans. As you move through the various worlds and scenarios of several single-player Final Fantasy titles, you begin amassing a large number of characters from across the series. While doing this, you can level them up, create and upgrade new abilities, find and upgrade your armor and weapons, all while taking on a number of familiar Final Fantasy bosses. The gameplay is like a mix of a mobile game and a Final Fantasy game. It's fun and addicting, and it just happens to be ATB-style turn-based combat. Since your character can only attack, defend, equip 2 abilities, and access a soul break, which is this game's version of a limit break, knowing your enemy before venturing into battle aids you greatly. Now, several of the bosses are just classic Final Fantasy bosses that have been recreated, and they actually reward you for knowing how they were fought in the older games. And if you didn't happen to know what their weaknesses were in those older titles, the game will educate you to those weaknesses after the battle is over. It's great for nostalgic Final Fantasy fans who remember all these battles, and it's still fun for people who've never fought them at all. On top of knowing your enemies, collecting a vast number of powerful items and characters helps as well. Now, every character and piece of equipment is synergized with a specific Final Fantasy game, pretty much the Final Fantasy game that they are affiliated with, for example, Kain being from Final Fantasy IV. Now, if you use those characters or equipment in said world, you gain increases in their effectiveness and an experience boost if it happens to be a synergized character. It makes it addicting to level up all your characters and have them ready for the worlds when you need them to be. On top of that, you can use the worlds that they're from to level them up a little bit faster, depending on what levels are available for said world. And to keep you interested in logging in more, they reward you with daily login bonuses, daily dungeons to grind up materials, experience points, and gil, and even opportunities to obtain rare relics and farm events to unlock new characters and even more items. It's an overall satisfying experience that is set to see plenty of new updates in the future. In fact, I had to update my thoughts before even recording this video since they added about 20 new dungeons into the game, including a huge expansion on Final Fantasy VI going all the way to the end of the floating continent, or almost the end of the floating continent, as well as new dungeons in Final Fantasies 1, 2, and 4. Now, all of that sounds great, and honestly, there's so many more things I could tell you about the game, but we do need to remember this is a mobile game with cash shop-esque features. It might be free to play, and I probably should have mentioned that earlier, but it does have cash shop-esque features. Now, the game itself operates on a stamina system, which you may be familiar with from games like Spiral Knight. Each time you enter a dungeon, you use up some stamina, and if you don't have enough, you won't be able to enter the dungeon. Now, stamina does regenerate at a rate of 1 stamina per 3 minutes, but you can also use 2 resources known as mithril or gems in order to instantly restore it as well. Now, mithril is a resource given to you in-game from completing dungeons for the first time. You can get them from mastering a dungeon, which means completing a dungeon in exceptional fashion, and you can also get it from things like daily events or from monthly events where you can unlock new characters as well. Gems, on the other hand, can be bought with real-life money at approximately a rate of $1 per 100 gems, with bundle packs that have ridiculously terrible reduced prices. Both of these resources are not only used to regenerate stamina, but can be used to expand your inventory space, how much room you have for abilities, heal your party to full mid-dungeon, or take your chance at drawing a rare item also known as a relic. A side note, max stamina can be increased by collecting 5 stamina shards. Now this increases your maximum stamina by 1, and when it happens also acts as a full refill, which the game gives you tons of early on, which keeps the game's pace super fast when you first start playing it. Now you can absolutely drop tons of money on gems and constantly play with stamina recharges, expand your inventory, or take a chance at getting some super rare items, but the game doesn't make it impossible to do this without the use of their cash shop. With constant events and updates for the game, obtaining mithril feels fairly consistent, at least for the first week. It dies down a little bit after that. This helps prevent you from feeling like within an hour or two, you'll need to drop money on the game to keep enjoying it. In fact, you can easily get 15 to 20 or even more hours of gameplay without ever feeling like it's 100% necessary to buy some gems. At least, that's how I felt this last week playing it. Now, Record Keeper is by no means the perfect mobile game, but it does make a pretty good mobile Final Fantasy game. The nostalgic feeling going, oh, I remember this boss from this game, its weakness was this, I wonder if that'll work here, and then having that information actually help you beat the boss is really awesome. The combat flows fast and rewards adequate preparation, and honestly, collecting and leveling all those separate characters can be pretty addicting. It does have a lack of depth in a lot of places that Final Fantasy games usually have depth. It also doesn't have many worlds yet, and the worlds it does have aren't fully fleshed out. Final Fantasy VI probably being the most fleshed out world now that they've updated it a little bit. And don't get me wrong, you will feel the occasional urge to drop a few dollars on it just to see if you can get that super rare relic that they keep advertising to you every time you go back to the main menu. Despite all this, it is a solid mobile game that will at least net you 15 hours of comfortable, free fun due to the frequency of obtaining stamina shards early on. If you're willing to keep logging in after that, expect many more hours as well. Have you played Final Fantasy Record Keeper? If so, let me know what you think in the comment section of the video below. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share, and let me know if you want to hear more about Record Keeper in the future. But anyway, thank you for watching, I'll see you guys next time, and until then, take care.